Stay tuned because you know Reec is going to have one of your favorite stars with him today.
Stay tuned.
Shout out to everybody tuned in with us, man. Checking in live. Shout out to CMVA 1075. Shout out to my brother Potty Ali with the game. Michigan, Indiana, Miami. We in here. And of course, we broadcasting live from the Reec Radio studio right here, Media Campus West in ATL, man, west of Atlanta. Shout out to the whole Lithia Springs, Austell area. All right, man, let's get into it. You heard the sound of, we got another special guest in the building about to introduce the world to this man. They probably already know him. They probably know his voice more than they know his name. You done heard him on a bunch of stuff. He done worked with some of your favorite artists. Now, that's a big thing, but we're going to give him his biggest intro in a second. Now, homie, Enin Perryman is in the building. What's up, big dog?
Hey, man, it's a blessing to be here. I'm just in the building, man.
There you go.
I'm feeling the vibe.
Man, you got the vibes going over there, bro. We got the show outfit on. I see you.
Yeah, man, I'm on Reec Radio, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you got to turn all the way up. Got the sequence, the shades, all of that, man. Show them the footwork. They wasn't ready for the footwork.
Well,
show them the footwork.
Big ups to homie Prince.
Okay, exactly.
I want to be taller than I am my original self.
The cheat code has been explained. All right, man, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Enin, let's go ahead. We do the thing called the biggest intro ever. For those who are not familiar with your movement, I'm going to give them a couple of background situations about you, man. This is your biggest intro ever. This man with over 3 million Spotify streams and counting. This is not an easy feat to have. He's performed and collaborated with some of the industry veterans like Usher, R. Kelly, Al Green, Snoop Dogg, D'Angelo, Prince, and more. He's toured in Europe and here in the U.S. I'm talking about Chicago executives own Enin Perryman is live on the Reec Show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right,
that was really a big.
There we go, man. I mean, folks, they probably looking. They like, they may have not have heard of you or may have not seen you before, but they may have heard a collaboration or two. They may have heard you may have penned something or worked with a big artist. You know what I mean? And I know you've written for people, so you've been behind the scenes. I mean, for goodness sakes, you've been next to Prince to do stuff. You know what I mean? So we want to talk about some of these things, man. Let's talk about some of these collabs or been out and doing performances with people, and I know you've picked up some of the stuff from these veterans. What was that experience like, just being next to a Prince or a Snoop Dogg or a D'Angelo?
Man, it was wonderful to see them. I'm a little bit older.
I got you.
You just aged me, but
well, I mean, cool. I'm just saying. I mean, listen. Talent has no age length. In hip hop is the only industry where we say an artist is older or an artist is too old to do a certain thing. But to me, it's like a talent has no expiration date. You know what I'm saying? Right, and neither does like genuine people. Exactly. And then it's being as though you're more of an R&B artist too. So the more experience an R&B artist gets, the better they get. You see, we got some of these groups to this day still touring, and we see that now how we get to appreciate those groups with stuff like Versus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So when you get these Earth, Wind, and Fires on Versus, and the younger generation's like, man, I know they made all them songs out here on commercials and TV and TikTok challenges and all that. So let's just talk about that type of stuff, because folks need to understand that it don't matter what the age of it is, as long as it's good. Let's rock with it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so I'm on a mission, man, to bring the R&B soul, gospel feel, if you will, back to the forefront of music, man. And that's what I've been on. Going back to what we initially talked about was Prince. Seeing this man, he was about the music. You know what I mean? And I'm in full regalia because of stuff that he started with. In Paisley Park, when you entered the studio, he wanted you, right? Performance, no fakes. You can't come dressed down.
I got
come
you.
like we getting ready to perform, and that's just the way he lived.
Practice like you play.
Like you play, exactly. And that was just an honor to be, in his presence, to see him at work. And the man was a master of everything. He knew his craft.
Yeah, he could play almost every instrument. People don't know that. Like, they know Prince as the artist or the symbol, and they don't understand that this man could play guitar, bass, piano. He can get on the trumpet. He can do whatever. He gonna climb up the curtains, hit all the notes. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
This guy was so meticulous, man. He knew his pyrotechnics. He knew dance moves.
Wow.
He was doing what he was so calculated in his art. And I just, my thing is like to walk in his shoes and be that type of artist that really is in tune with my art. You know what I mean? And because if you believe it, people will believe it. And he believed in every note that he played. You could take that to the bank. Every note that he played was real, was from his heart, and it was from a special place, and he taught us musicians how to evolve. You know, at the time, going back to the age thing, you know what I'm saying? You get better with time.
Yeah.
Big ups to Mary J. Blige, who you know, was a pioneer in the longevity in this business.
Right.
You know, and you know, following those guys, you know, like I said, I've seen a full circle with R&B now. It's coming back to the forefront, and what a perfect time after a pandemic, you know, to bring something real back to music.
We need it. We need it. Pandemic, folks in the house with each other, looking at each other all day, arguing, getting mad. We need some good R&B music. Calm the house down. You know, make love, not a war. You know what I'm saying? We need that. So if you guys are just tuning in, we got Enin Perryman, the artist is here. You know, you got wear other hats, but today we're just gonna kind of stick to the artistry. And you know what you bring to the entertainment forefront. You've been touring, you've been doing so many things. You had the privilege of having a European tour and doing things across seas. Tell me how that helped to sculpt you or your artistry and musically.
Okay, going back, like I want to go back to the we have a documentary series that's out that talks about everything during the pandemic,
right?
Lockdown.
Yeah,
we were like, you know what, this is a perfect time instead of doing videos to just tell the story, you know, of the product, Enin Perryman, you know, who he is, where he came from. I'm a little Delta boy.
Right, Mississippi. Shout out Mississippi.
Clark said, home of the blues, brother.
Right.
Not just Mississippi.
Right.
Everybody that knows blues know what I'm talking about. You know, it's like, you know, the Chitlin circuit, where it all started from, you know. Dad was a bluesician. We lost my dad last year.
Oh, sorry to hear that,
said it took COVID, but you know, I absorbed his energy, you know, when I started writing, which prompted us to, you know, to come and write like 4 albums back to back, and we'll get into
crazy,
that. I'm so super excited, man, about being here to tell the world about what we've been doing during the pandemic.
Right.
Because my grandmother used to always say, if life hands you lemons, you cut it up and make lemonade, apple pie, lemon pie, whatever, you know, out of it. You know, I took that to heart, you know, being kind of, but I started my career, I'm an ex-military war veteran.
Right.
I went to war when I was 19
And thank you for your service. Yes, sir.
To all the military veterans out there, you know, holding it down. But what made me really want to pursue this thing is performing for the troops when I was 19 in the desert. And troops was like, you know, hey man, this music sound like Freddie Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Go get the beatbox. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, let's do it, bro.
Shout out.
You know, that was our entertainment, even you know, in a war zone. You know? And
but that keeps people's spirits up, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know, I do this for the men and women who did not make it back with me, and that's my passion. And, ever since the 19, you know, got out of the military in Europe, got my first deal there as a songwriter. I tried out for this group called Snap. They needed a lead singer, and you know, back then that's when we, you know, they would have the auditions and the showcases, and you know. And everything was like, you know, you had to work. You know, there was no digital. You know,
you had to be in front of people, right?
Yes, sir. I seen the transformation in this whole entire business, and that's one of the advantages of being a seasoned artist. Is you see where it was
and where it is, and you get to use the experiences from both.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And people sampling the music, and the only difference with the Enin Perryman product is like we give you everything from scratch. It's samples, auto-tunes, and when you get done, you believe that it probably was. You know, you're trying to debate in your mind, what did he use?
Did I hear that from somewhere? But it's just because you understand what real music is. When I say real music, instrumentation and all that stuff, and the science behind it.
Behind it, the psychology is real. You know, when I approach a piece, you know, a good friend of mine, big drop, but he really restarted my career here, Christopher Starr. Big ups to him, the CSP Music Group here in Atlanta. He told me one thing, and I took it to heart. He was like, man, because I told him when I initially started writing, I was like, man, I'm afraid to write about myself. You know, I've always been writing for other artists. I'm writing about, you know, situations, people going through, whatever. He was like, man, it's time for you to get involved. You know, and put yourself in it.
Right.
And thus from that came 3 albums back to back.
Wow, that's crazy. Let me hit the hype bell for that. Because it's hard sometimes. You've been writing from your experiences, but another person's perspective.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. So now you have to do both your experiences, your perspective, and then your performance and delivery.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good thing came out of the pandemic is that it gave me some me time. You know? And then when I was reflecting on like, okay, I'm gonna put myself in this. I'm like, man, we've been through some real
stuff.
Sugar, honey, iced tea. You know what I mean? So I had to recalibrate that thing and start putting all of me into it. And when I lost my father, that was like a pivotal point because we lost him early in COVID. Because there was no vaccine, there was nothing.
Yeah.
And it put me in a different place. You know, I had to live his legacy. You know. When I say Perryman, you know, it's
it's his name, and it's some history behind it. And he was a musician.
Yes, sir.
What did he play blues wise? What was he doing?
He sang, he did guitar, he was a composer.
Yeah.
And he was always telling me when I was in Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis, he was like, man, you in the home of the blues. He said, have you seen James Brown? And I was like, oh no, Pops, I'm working. He was like, man, you ain't no R&B writer. You can't write R&B. You never seen James Brown.
He's telling you go look at that history.
Man, what? And his last concert at the Memphis Memphis in May concert, I got to see him.
That's really,
man, it was so great, and it was like a pivotal point. It's like he was saying, I take the mantra, young man. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy, So you got to see James Brown perform. It's basically his last performance, his biggest last performance. And I know even at that age, he still put on a show.
Man, it was fantastic. I got to see the influences from Michael Jackson and Prince and where that came
from James Brown. The moonwalking, the cape, the sequence, the live band, the control of the band, all of that. Shout out to James Brown. And I just saw his estate just closed a huge deal. They just closed a deal today. I think it was like $90 million or something for his estate. Now think about it. This man hadn't dropped a song in almost 40 years, and his estate can still pull $90 million. So that's just an ode to, you know, if you make a dope, great product, to what it can do years later, generations later for your people and your family. So that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Man, I appreciate you sharing that story with us. I know it's close to heart, especially with your father, your dad, you know, and you losing him with COVID. And I know now when you see it, you say there was no vaccine, there was no real rules. You know what I mean? Right. So I know when you see people, you know, being a little reckless out here, it hits different for you, right?
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I get it.
I feel some type of way. Like, because it hit home until it hits home. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's easy to be nonchalant about it because you don't know anybody, and especially when it's like your parents.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's really happens. Yeah, it
know?
really happens. I get it, man. I get it. So like we even here, like our staff, we get tested a couple times a week. I had a couple coughs early this week. I went straight to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? But I just got a sinus issue. But at the same time, it's just like we want to be health conscious. You know, we have doctors up here and we talk, but we also want to be considerate to our guests. You know what I mean? I want to be around somebody, and then I may, you know, so we just want to be considerate. But man, we appreciate you sharing that story. Let's talk a little bit about this documentary, because it seems like you talk about the beginning, you coming up, you know, through Illinois, through Mississippi, through the Army, and then you doing this tour, you getting your first deal, you come out of that, you go the executive route a little bit, you know, but then you back in the artist mode. You got these 3 albums, boom, boom, boom. You got one about to release 2022.
Yes.
What is this
on
about?
Your birthday,
right? Oh, let's talk about it. So when what this album release? In the world of right now, because this is digital social media, tell us a little bit about this album, and we're gonna talk about the holiday stuff too. So let's talk about the album a little bit.
Man, this album is, like I said, the pivotal point for me. We're coming out from the first one, which is Love, Life, and Spirituality, which sparked the soundtrack, self-titled soundtrack, which is Love, Life, and Spirituality, the documentary.
Right.
And after that, that whole album was talking about being in the pandemic, waking up, you know, married to somebody you don't know. You know, it's real talk. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff.
He said married to somebody you don't know. Because you can escape before the pandemic. You gonna go to work or go to the bar, go to your homie's house. None of that. You in the house 24 hours a day with this person. Now you learn the stuff.
Who is this person?
Right. I didn't even know you ate like that.
Because remember, everybody, you know, we had this routine, you know, off to the kids, run the business. She works, I work.
Right.
You know, that whole thing. And, you know, R&B is written for the real, you know, real everyday life. You know what I'm saying? You talk about Teddy Pendergrass, Luther Vandross, Michael Jackson.
Talk to him,
you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about everything. Barry Gordy once said, you know, when we write music, we want to write it where if I didn't have nothing left, you know what I'm saying, a dollar in my pocket, what I'm gonna do this dollar, eat or buy a record. And the point was that he was saying that hope.
Yeah.
Music is with music we offer hope.
Yeah.
Things that uniquely people can't do naturally. So you know, I always take that to heart. You know what I'm saying, when we are in writing, and that's what we did with this album, Pandemic Past, Present, and Future.
Right.
That is actually out for pre-sale right now.
Right.
Amazon.com, all of them venues. But it's a 15-song map of what we went through in our past.
Yeah.
You know, it had to live to get here. You married somebody, and you, like, you woke up and found out.
Right.
You know, who is this person?
Right.
You know, or, you know,
So you got to relearn and re-fall in love with this person.
That piece. And then the present, we help you re-fall in love. You know what I'm saying? Talk about the situation.
Yeah.
Music is therapeutic.
It is. We just talked about it yesterday with the homie Derez Deshaun came through, and he was talking about how he likes to put that soul into it, even with the hip hop. And he's like, we are really selling feelings when it comes down to it. Because we don't, like you said, you can buy food, you need to eat, you need to drink, you need a house. You don't need music until it's needed. You know what I mean? Now, if I make it a need with these feelings I'm selling you, you best believe they're going to keep buying it. I like it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Take that to heart. And one thing nugget I took from my father, rest his soul, big ups to the late Leroy Perryman Jr. He told me, he said, son, he said, you know what? Everybody thinks soul music is about the soul. It's like, wait, he said, that's what white folks get.
They talk to him.
And, he said, soul is, he was talking about the Delta in Clarksville, Mississippi. He's like, you know, people would go to the club with the soul of their shoe because they didn't have anything. So it was dire poverty. If you ever been in Clarksville, still got a dire poverty, but we're gonna change that.
Right.
But you know, these people with the chilling circuit, man, they would go to the balconies and, you know, and sometimes not have, you know, like any shoes. And he was like, that's what the term soul music came. It wasn't the deep part of it. It was that was your way out. Crossroads, Clarksville, Mississippi, the Blues Brothers, you know, wrote a thing about it. But that is where it was believed that you traded your soul to the devil or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because it was half gospel and blues, you know, kind of derivative of each other. And so that was like, you know, people came to church and they changed chords from the church, and they're like, you know, man, my baby done left me. And you know, the same thing.
Well, they say with the blues, you could just exchange baby for Jesus, and it'll go right to a gospel song.
Right there.
But I know what you mean. I just watched a documentary on Netflix about they talking about the devil man when he went to the crossroads and changed his soul and came back. Yeah, but this is a great watch. But I know exactly what you're talking about right now.
However it may be, there's a whole lot of people that came out.
That came out of that. You know? That, like you said, literally didn't have souls on their shoes, but made it big in music, you know, after going through those trenches like that. That's the real trenches, really getting it out the mud, per se.
I'm hungry because I didn't have no food. I'm like, wait a minute, these people, they have
nothing.
Food.
Yeah.
They was chopping cotton, making, 16 cents
a week.
A week.
Yeah.
And you had to feed a family.
Yeah. 4 or 5 kids on that.
Don't know about poverty. You have, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's kind of what the documentary tells about. It goes back to when I was 5 years old. Person my age chopping cotton probably is unheard of today. You know, where we had to pour water into pumps and pump water.
Yeah.
You know, it taught me the value of hard work. You know, and whatever it is that you do, especially with music, growing up in that musical culture where this is where really hip hop and a lot of other things came from.
Yeah, they were born. It's like the stepchild or the grandchildren of these movements. Yeah,
seeing hands-on that feeling of dire poverty and hope springing from that. That was like, you know, it was so inspirational. And then when I started singing at 5 years old, so, you know, of course, my dad was like, you know, he gonna sing. Daddy's put me on the stage. He went in like, that baby ain't moved, ain't cried. Well, you know, what kind of baby is
but he gonna sing.
Y'all gonna find out. You know what I'm saying? But here we are still doing it today, man, and doing it from the soul.
I get it, man. So what was the first song that you remember that you learned to sing?
Oh my goodness. Big ups to Freddie Jackson. Kicked me off his tour. I sounded too much like him. I'm just saying. True story. I still love you, Freddie. Taught me everything I know.
Got a little controversy here on Reec Show Me Die Bell.
Man, I was so infatuated with the guy because, you know, it was my first talent show that I did in Clarksdale, matter of fact. And Clarksdale was like the back in the day, like Apollo, you know what I'm saying? If you weren't bringing it, then boo, you know,
you got to get out of there. Yeah, real stage,
throwing shoes at you the whole thing.
Not the shoes.
I remember
back to them souls.
Man, they was really living it. And I told my mother, I said, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to win this contest. You know, and I practiced Freddie Jackson's You Are My Lady. You are my lady. Okay, there we go.
Hey, man, I see what happened. Now you do sound. I thought Freddie was in for a minute. I ain't going to lie to you.
But I got that feel of being on stage and it was magical. I was like, this is where I belong. You know, entertaining people. And
you felt it.
Yeah.
From the moment you started performing.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
This is home for me. You know? And it's weird because like you get stories like Aretha Franklin said she was nervous.
Yeah.
She got, man, I was nervous not to get on. I was like anxious.
Anxious,
Give me a microphone.
Right.
You know, everything else in my life disappeared. And then I understood the power and the value of music then.
Well, what was that? Define that. What was that?
That was when I opened my mouth and saw people in tears or saw people screaming or hollering. And the thing that changed the trajectory as far as a songwriter and music and thinking about that psychology and that vibe was when I had a young lady and I had written a gospel song with my mother. Matter of fact, it was a duet called Money Came by God's Love. And we were at some kind of revival or something, and she walked in and she was like, you know, I don't want to disturb y'all or anything. She's like, but this song changed my life.
Wow.
And the preacher gave her the mic and she was like, it was on, like no radio loops a song. She was like, I was going to commit suicide. And I couldn't do it because the song kept playing and looping and looping. And she was like, you know, I didn't do it. It changed my life. And here I am walking down the street because the preacher had said, you know, open the doors and we're just going to let anybody that wants to come in, whatever. And she just happened to be walking by and she was like, this is the song.
Wow.
It changed my life.
Yeah.
Because I knew, like, you know, I'm not just singing music about my mother's house.
Right.
I'm like, I'm singing it because I have something to offer. You know?
Yeah.
And so ironic, now we're in a pandemic, and that's what this whole pandemic, past, present, and future album is about. Changing life. You're going to listen to a song that's going to change. There's a political song that's called Blackface. That's right. Manny Bush, big up to the producer.
Yeah.
But it's talking about Black Lives Matter. How can I say Black Lives Matter and my brother doesn't matter to me? I have to value my brother first.
Yeah, it's got to make sense.
Crime and you know, big ups to King Dog. You know, it's tragedy when we are killing each other.
Yeah.
You know, and we gotta do us first.
Yeah.
And then make the world respect us. Post that.
Right.
We have to love one another.
Yeah.
That's what the whole.
Whether other people don't or not, we need to. We need to. It's definitely a needed thing. I'm glad you're putting this out. Absolutely. Talk that talk, man. Yeah. I'm glad you're putting it out there like that. You just said something too. I want to circle back to. You said you and your mom co-wrote the song.
We co-wrote the song.
So you didn't have a choice but to do music. If you just started playing basketball, they'd be like, "Nah, what is he doing?"
Exactly. My grandmother said, "You know what? Your dad do blues, your mom do gospel, so you got to be somewhere in between."
And that's where you ended up.
Yeah, I am.
I like it. I like it. So, what single can we look at coming off of this album? What do you think would be, if you had to tell everybody, if you listen to this song, you probably understand the trajectory of this album?
20 Rock, you rock. Let's get it. You've been down too long. It's time to get a drink and get in it.
Okay then.
Whatever you have to do, and one of the verses says get a mask and get with it. So whatever the chain you're talking about variants now. So it's a song for right now, but it's a song that offers hope. If you made it through a pandemic, baby, you
can do
here.
Yeah.
You here. borrow the color purple. I'm here.
Yeah, I
you
made
made
it.
it through a pandemic. You're still making it.
Yeah.
So look up and live.
Yeah.
Have hope. Know that you're here. If you lost someone, I lost my father to it. Absorb their energy and go on and be their legacy.
Yeah, lead, keep carrying on all the positive they had within them. Yeah, and keep that thing going. I like it, man. Enin Perryman here right now. Let's talk about this holiday album because we gotta wait a little bit for past, present, and future. But you got
birthday.
We
gonna talk about
right.
that.
We gonna talk about it, man. It's all my cancers out there. But you got this holiday album.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the holiday album, remastered, ready to go. But you got an R&B flavor. So are we laying them down by the fireplace, or we singing Jingle Bells? What we doing, man?
This is all original tunes.
Okay.
13 all original tunes written for my soul. It's called The Soul of Christmas. Back to that soul again.
There we go.
The Soul of Christmas, and it is definitely original. We got a takeoff single at Christmas from a male perspective. Talking about what do we do?
You buy yourself a gift. That's what you do. No, I was playing.
I know you want to get that Henny, but I'm just saying what
I got you. Keep going,
it's the
man.
soul of Christmas,
Right.
And so it's a lot of ballads on there, a lot of a good feeling song. The lead off of there is "Home for Christmas," which we have the video out on YouTube right now, and it talks about me being a veteran, and about being away from home.
Oh, wow. I know that's going to touch home for a lot of people, man. I got a song with this homie. Shout out to Felly the Voice. Shout out to St. Denson. We got a song called Home for the Holidays. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And this is about, when you walk into, quote unquote, your grandma's house or that auntie house or your mom's house, it's got the people that come over. And then you may be missing that one person, you know what I mean, that's not here with us no more. So it's kind of about that. I think a lot of people could relate. But that right there is something I know all my veterans need to tap in on that one. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm in full regalia.
Gotcha.
And it deals with being homeless. And we have a lot of homeless veterans.
Yeah, we do. That's definitely an issue. I hate that our veterans that protect this country aren't taken care of when they get back. Yeah.
I'm a strong advocate, of helping other veterans to, go to the VA register. It's really weird because when you get out of service and you've been in war, there's a lot you don't know. Like the whole PTSD thing.
Yeah.
I suffered with, and that was, very traumatic because we know what it was. And they were denying the Gulf War illness and all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
And, it's a time, I felt hopeless. So when music saved me, literally saved me.
So that was your therapy without even knowing the resources available for you. Yeah, but a lot of people don't have that, and they don't know that. So I really appreciate you even mentioning that today, because you may save somebody that just watching this for entertainment. You know what I mean? So is it okay we touch on the PTSD and how that was for you? Because I people need to know kind of what that is.
Therapy, man. I didn't know. I was acting out and doing stuff. I was like, what is wrong with me? It was just, what I'm saying, I could do music, but then when I went to regular life, I couldn't keep a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And my family, they started looking because of the Vietnam era. I had Vietnam veterans in my family.
Right.
And they were like, oh, this is what happened to his uncle, so he probably doing the same thing, but it was a different dichotomy.
Yeah.
We went to war, and it was like we were under strength at the time in the Gulf War, and they were trying to hurry up and feel everything. And when we got back, it was just like you're in war and killing and stuff. Nothing pretty about war at all.
Yeah. And people don't understand. It's not like the movies. It ain't like it's not like the movies. You really seeing people leave their body, and then you have to deal with that, internalize that, and then do it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and then they're like, okay, you can go home.
For all my veterans who are listening, if you feel that you're in that position where you're hopelessness and you feel that you want to harm yourself, the veterans they have a hotline, an 800 hotline, call the veterans line, and they're there to help. They really saved my life in many instances and crises. They have a lot of programs that can help get you back on track, and so you can have a productive life. Look at me, I did 4 albums back to back. You know what I'm saying?
4 albums, a documentary. You know what I mean? About to perform. You got a big performance coming up too in Illinois, right?
Yes.
There we go. Let's talk about that, man. How that thing come together and what we doing?
Big ups to my management team, Chicago executive Elizabeth Johansson. Shouts out to her. She believed in this project from the get. She named the project. So
it's always good to have some people behind you believing it. Right.
You can't do this alone.
Right.
you know, you need a team. You need somebody that
absolutely.
believes in your vision and your dream as well. And of course, I was born in Chicago, so it was very appropriate for us to do something big to kick this whole thing off. And subsequently, she knew some producers, and she used to work at CBS, and I had some background ties. And the guy was like, "Yeah, we got an opening. Is he vaccinated?"
There we go.
Just saying.
Yeah.
And I'm fully vaccinated, so I was like, yeah, let's work. Because that's one of the things. I was like, I can't get this music out if I'm not in front of people, the right way. So, big ups to the Bulls. Right. Like, we got this open for halftime, and what better way to introduce 20 Rock, after the pandemic and this hope factor that we have.
Yeah.
Very, very fun.
People trying to crawl back into a regular normal type lifestyle. Yeah, I like it.
Big ups to the writer, co-writer, and my producer, Chevalier Coleman, Albany, Georgia. Want to send out shots to him.
Shout out to Albany.
So that's man, guys have so much talent, and it almost didn't make the album.
Really?
We got done at American Sushi Studio. Big up to Jamie Lake, American Sushi Studio.
So this album must be crazy.
It is crazy.
The lead off song that's blowing up almost didn't make the album.
Almost didn't make the album, and because we had finished everything and there was nothing else. He's writing this song all the time behind the scenes while we're finishing the album.
Yeah.
He said, "I got one more thing for you, brother." And I was like, "What's that?" We're done.
We're done.
The one room. He was like, "No, you got to have this Southern Soul banger that talks about all of this
and ties everything together."
He wrote it, sent it to me at 4 a.m. in the morning. 3 minutes later, I had the lyric. Sent it back to him. We recorded it the next day, straight through one take.
Crazy. Meant to be.
That told me it's got to be.
Meant to be. I like it. All right, man. Tell everybody where they can follow you at online, where they can get at you, get this album, all of that pertinent information.
Man, please go to follow us on Instagram at Dr. ENINPERRYMAN. That's the number 9 spelled backwards. ENINPERRYMAN. And it's on all social media platforms. Twitter, follow me on the same handle. Facebook, please follow our capital ENINPERRYMAN. If you can't get on the regular page, I do answer everybody. I don't care for the billion people that I spent all day, all night trying to get back in my fans because you make us live. Okay,
that's what's up.
This album is for you. It's not for me. Music's give. We don't receive. So, we should at least.
You should. That's what it's about, man. I appreciate you coming by and chopping it up with us and giving us some insight and getting people excited about this project.
Yes, sir.
There we go. All right, man. Your boy Reec right here. We're going to get back to this mix. We got the homie Michael Collier, comedian extraordinaire, pulling up on us today, too. One more time for the homie Enin Perryman right here on Reec Radio.